Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? I hope all is well in your corner of the world. Man, we've been having some audio visual issues, so today is the first day I've been really able to get back to recording. Yeah, the setup might be different. I don't have the chalk wall, but man, I'm really excited to get into some new music. We've been getting into some more of Akala's music, not just his fire in the booth freestyle, but some of his actual songs. And man, I have not had heard something yet that I've been disappointed in. Um, and it's so much of a contrast. I was just saying on my last video, I spent this morning going through Donda 2, the new album from Kanye West, and man, I was just so disappointed. There was nothing of substance, and it's so crazy in this world that we live in that artists like Kanye West have millions upon millions of followers, and someone like Akala. I'm looking at this video. Malcolm said it. This is the video we're about to get into. It's got 32,000 views. What? Right? The world is so twisted nowadays, and I'm trying to build our platform here for Blackish University, but we do intellectual breakdowns. If you're new to the station, I hope you like the video. I hope you can support us by subscribing to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. But we've been getting into these really lyrically dense or very complex artists like Akala that just have something intelligent to say. And I'm really excited to get in this one. It's called Malcolm Said It. And I can't help but think of Malcolm X. I don't know who else he would be referring to. But really excited to get into this one. Let's not wait any more. Malcolm Said It.
Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Arlie said it, Garvey said it, Two Saints said it, I weren't there but I'm sure Dessalines said it, Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Arlie said it, Garvey said it, Two Saints said it.
He's dropping a lot of names there. I think it's important for those that aren't in the know to know who he's referencing, right? I think everyone knows Malcolm X. Malcolm X, died. This is somebody that was really popular in the civil rights movement, but he also represented the Nation of Islam. You can look. I actually have a playlist that's below, and I think it's on powerful speeches. And we've actually broken down some Martin Luther King Jr. We've done the I Have a Dream speech, and we did a breakdown of everything he was trying to say. But we also looked at Malcolm X, Ballot or the Bullet. It was just a great speech from Malcolm X, and I love just his point of view and his position on certain things. So if you want some more information, please feel free to check out those breakdowns. There's just a lot in there, right? Now, who else? He said Bob Marley. I think we all know who Bob Marley is. Same with Muhammad Ali. I think we all know who Muhammad Ali is, or Cassius Clay, for those that knew him before he joined the Nation of Islam. Funny fact is Muhammad Ali. A lot of people say, why did you choose the name Muhammad, right? Well, he said, Muhammad is the one who opened my eyes. He's talking about the great honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad in his teachings, just like what Malcolm X says, he says, why would you reference your last name and why do you use your last name? And it was the name of the person that owned you, right? In America, in the U.S., so slaves, we don't know what our last names were. In Africa, we lost that. We lost our history. So we took the last name of whoever owned us and whatever plantation we were a part of, right? So if your name is Brandon Washington, if you go back in history, you were probably part of a plantation where the slave owner's last name was Washington. When you became a free person, you took that last name. So Malcolm X would always say, why do you honor that man? Why do you honor his name? That's why Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali, right? Who else did he reference? I think he said Garvey, but he's obviously talking about Marcus Garvey, right? We went over this in other videos. Akala's, I believe it's Fire in the Booth Part 4, where we talk a little bit in more detail about Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, he was a Jamaican-born, I guess you would call him a black nationalist, right? But he was a leader of the Pan-Africanism movement. They were looking to unify and connect people of African descent, right? He was a civil rights activist. I think I went in over this in the last video, but he was involved with a lot of he was an entrepreneur as well, right? This was a very tough time to be an entrepreneur as a black man. But here, he founded the Negro World newspaper. He owned a shipping company called Black Star. He also ran something called the UNIA, which is the what is it? UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA. It's a fraternal organization of black nationalists, right? They would always advocate for what's called separate but equal status for anyone that had African ancestry. So they wanted to establish these independent black states all around the world, including in Africa. But let's get back to it. I don't know if there's any other names. Let me just run it back a little.
Martin said it, Marley said it, Arlie said it, Garvey said it, Two Saints said it. I wasn't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said
it. He said Dessalines, right? We referenced Dessalines as well in Fire in the Booth. I believe it might have been part 1, but he's referring to Jean Jacques Dessalines. This was a leader of the Haitian Revolution, but he was also the first ruler of an independent Haiti, right? A lot of people, if you know anything about history, in 1805, there was a constitution when Haiti became independent. And I always like to reference this, right? Because a lot of people, they don't talk enough about this. But that he was also under Dessalines. Haiti became the first country to actually outlaw slavery. Sorry, I'm checking my phone as I got kids that are coming home from school soon. So we're about to wrap up the videos for the day. This is more than likely the last video of the day. But that's who, when he says Dessalines, that's important to understand that reference.
If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. We might feed and breathe, but we never did. Except those with peace and equality. They don't see what we call a foreign. Live, speak truth, we kill them for. We love them dead when they speak no more. But they will endure. I get and breathe, but
I gotta run that back.
Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Arlie said it, Garvey said it, Two Saints said it. I wasn't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it.
He said Toussaint. He's talking about Francois Toussaint, right? This was a general. I believe he was a general, Haitian general, but he was one of the leaders during the Haitian Revolution, right? He fought against the French and basically fought for Haitian independence.
Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Arlie said it, Garvey said it, Two Saints said it. I wasn't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. We might feed and breathe, but we never did. Except those with peace and equality. They don't see what we call a foreign. Live, speak truth, we kill them for. We love them dead when they speak no more. But they will endure. Ideas are bulletproof.
He said we love the dead, right, when they speak no more. There's a lot of leaders, when you start talking about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., even someone like Tupac, right? These are people that were taken off of this planet. They went to go meet their maker. They were assassinated. They were killed, right? Because they had a lot of people, they try to silence you when you're going against authority, right? The powers that be, if you would.
We smother any mouth there, utter it. Fully father's fear, we mother it. We're loving it, corrupt government, so we look the other way when they're not names are struggling. We idolize them and we despise.
Would he say something about folly, father's fear?
We smother any mouth there, utter it. Fully father's fear, we mother it.
You don't really hear folly that much, but it means the lack of good sense, right? Someone acting foolish.
We're loving it, corrupt government, so we look the other way when they're not names are struggling. We idolize them.
We do look a lot, we look the other way quite often when things are going on in other areas of the world. It seems like the U.S. picks and chooses its battles based on what that person or place can do for them, right? We tend to, silence is violence, right? If you're in a position of power and you do nothing, one could argue that you're just as evil as the person that's committing the offense, right? If you see a woman getting raped, it is your duty to stop that rape from happening any way that you can. And if you don't, and you just walk away and you don't say anything, who's really, that person is guilty of a crime, but one could argue that there's a crime you're committing as well.
We despise it, 'cause we remind man in the window, I do a silent. So give a moment for the times we were blinded. Scream at the top of your lungs like a sound. You ain't found something to die for. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. If you ain't found something to die for. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. Maybe the wise man has nothing to prove, but the one who has nothing has nothing to lose. More things we don't need.
That's a dangerous man, right? Someone that has nothing to lose, right? He said the wise man has nothing to prove, but the one who has nothing to lose. That's what gets changed, right? When people are so fed up with the BS, right? Look in the U.S. when George Floyd was murdered by the police, right? Or Breonna Taylor, was it Breonna, right? It's so, look at Trayvon Martin, right? All these things that happen, people just don't want to be like, yo, what is so hard about giving us equal rights? What are you so afraid of, right? Not more than, just equal to.
More things, more laws we don't need. Two leads, it don't matter, they can't make change. New driver, but we got no brakes.
Ooh, he said more laws that we don't need, right? And I think he said more things we don't need will make more speed.
Two leads, it don't matter, they can't make change. New driver, but we got no brakes. Whatever the place.
Ooh, he said, who leads? It doesn't matter. They can't make change. New driver, but we got no brakes. You know, we can use that as a metaphor, thinking about politics in the U.S., right? A lot of people talk about the president. It's like, man, the president, even though he's very powerful, he's a temporary employee, right? A president in the U.S. can only serve 2 4-year terms, and that's if he's elected twice. They don't know the ins and outs of government and all the country's secrets. There's somebody that's going to be gone, and somebody else is going to fill that role. There's people above the president, right? There's corporations above the president that can influence the president. That's what we're worried about, right? And think about it. It's not really the president, but one could argue that it's the people that he puts in positions of power, right? Like Supreme Court justices, even members of judges that are on the circuit courts, right? These are people that have what's called lifelong tenure. They never get fired, right? Just because you don't agree with somebody politically, you can't fire them. So if they can interpret the laws, right? So that's why a lot of, Donald Trump, a president that everyone seemed to hate, conservatives loved him. Why? He's grabbing bitches by the pussy, right? No, why do conservatives love him? Because he put conservative judges on the Supreme Court. He put all these judges in place. I don't care who you vote for next. We got Joe Biden. He's not removing all these judges. There's been a lot done in the last 4 years that unfortunately can't get undone. And it's just there's a lot of people that are in positions of power, and you always think of the president, but again, he's just one man, and he's an employee.
Whatever the face, the master never ever frees his slave. They always do it, so they
said the master never ever frees his slave. I heard something. There's a My Sone freestyle on Funkmaster Flex, and I love how he positions this. He said they don't call you slaves anymore; they call you criminals. I read some statistics that said that 50% of black men in their lifetime will report to either an overseer, a probation officer, or a parole officer, meaning they had some sort of encounter with law enforcement that they were on the losing side of, right? So think about that, right? Think of private prisons and who's incentivized to keep this system in place.
pursue it, but we were too divided to everything. Got it through the course of, because they're wrong from the day that we get caught. They sell us a love song, we're so besotted. Everything got it through the course of, because they're wrong from the day that we get caught. They sell us a love song, we're so besotted. So confused, we believe their promise, but there are some that leave. They sell us a love song, we're so besotted. So confused, we believe.
You said besotted. You don't really hear that in common, in regular everyday speaking. At least I don't. I believe that means like you're infatuated with someone, right? Like you just absolutely love it, right? He said they sell us a love song and we're so besotted. We're infatuated with the music, right? We people just dangle a carrot in front of us, right? You ever see the donkey that has a stick with a carrot dangling and it helps guide him because he's always chasing that carrot.
Believe their promise, but there are some that leave more honest. They are not forgotten, no, they shot 'em. So scream to the top of your lungs, up from the bottom. Malcolm said it, Martin said it,
Yo.
Marley said it, Ollie said it, Garvey said it, True Saint said it. I weren't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it. Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Ollie said it, Garvey said it, Lumumba said it. I weren't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it.
Yo, that's not you don't really hear about him much anymore, right? This is something he's talking about Patrice Emery Lumumba, right? This is a Congolese politician. It was a, an independence leader, right? He was the first prime minister of an independent Democratic Republic of the Congo. This was in the 60s, I believe. But he played a role in the transformation of the Congo, right? But there's been I know this is random knowledge, and a lot of it, I don't want to sound like one of these crazy conspiracy theorists, but there's a lot of information online that says you can actually connect the CIA in the U.S. with his death, right? The CIA was they were at least considering what's called assassinating this former Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba, and the U.S. This is not something that's new, right? The U.S. if they don't like, I don't want to say don't like, it's right more of a casual term, but if they're not happy with the way things are going in certain parts of the world, what do? They remove that leader and they put a U.S. Somebody who believes in the U.S. and our laws and our customs in that place. It's a way of also showing their force around the world, right? And that doesn't always work. A lot of times it backfires, but a lot of times they're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Natural resources. Who's incentivized by when these things happen? You have to kind of do your research on that.
If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. If you ain't found something to die for. Don't rebel, the rebels are the tyrants. You are not God, so we are not defiant. No human nature, just our behavior, the oppressed. What they never wrestle is the savior. Around the globe killing, claiming to be religion. On the book said it's sin in the night.
Around the globe killing, made to be religion, right? So many people have died at the hands of religion since the beginning of time. Wow, listen to what he said. Now, spread democracy by dropping a bomb on a terrorist with no shoes or socks, right? When you hear about these casualties and mass casualties and bombing the wrong place and bombs going off in Syria, and if you listen to the news, you would think that we killed hundreds of terrorists, right? But when you really dig deeper and you look at people that are actually on the ground, like we're bombing schools and women and children have died, and we're bombing these areas and there's casualties that weren't connected to the war. And there's just a lot of that going on in the world. And it's not common knowledge, right? To really understand the death toll and, any casualties that aren't directly related to war. It's very hard to find those statistics because they're kind of buried. No pun intended.
That's the lesson. The bigger terrorist is the one with the bigger weapons.
Listen to that. He said, what did he say? Something about teaches us a lesson. The biggest terrorists are the ones with the bigger weapons, right? Some around the United States, some people around the world think the United States are the terrorists.
I reckon history teaches us the lesson. The bigger terrorist is the one with the bigger weapons. They talk, we didn't listen. They open and went missing. We can't see the things that imprison us because we don't.
So many people around the world have called bullshit, right? Why is the world like this? And they're off, right? He said so many people have spoke up and went missing.
Appreciate the freedom they're giving us. I want better. All we ever get it. Run, tell your friends that Akala said it. If you ain't found something to die for. If you ain't found something to die for, you never live. If you ain't found something to die for, sing it with me now. Malcolm said it. Said it, Marley said it, Ollie said it, Garvey said it, True Saint said it. I weren't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it. Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Ollie said it, Lumumba said it, True Saint said it. I weren't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it. Malcolm said it, Martin said it, Marley said it, Ollie said it, Garvey said it, Lumumba said it. I weren't there, but I'm sure Dessalines said it. Malcolm said it.
Wow. Look at those, all these young brothers and sisters getting that knowledge, soaking it up. Look at all that. That's a beautiful thing, right? People from all over the world, white, black, brown. Man, I want to just reference this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme or the quote. I referenced this in another video, and it really stood out to me. They say if you take a jar and you fill it with red ants, and then you fill it with black ants, they live in peace and harmony. But the minute you start to shake the jar, the red ants think the black ants are trying to kill them, and the black ants think the red ants are trying to kill them. And then they say, you have to ask yourself, who's shaking the jar? Who makes us think that white and black and all these new people from around the world hate each other? Because that's just not the case. There's a certain group, a minority, that run and they control power in the world, shaking that glass, right? Because it's in their best interest. Man, if you're a fan of intellectual music, music that has history to it, music that has substance, intellectual breakdowns, and not just bobbing your head and yeah, I'm not with that. If you're just looking to listen to the music, this is not the place. We're doing breakdowns, we're dissecting it, we're stopping it if we don't understand something, we're asking questions, and we're just getting intellectual conversation going. And a lot of people don't know, but I actually have a website. It's blackishuniversity.com. And I'm building it where it has a social media twist where if we are looking to build a community at some point, if we can really build our platform, it's a place where you can create an account and we can actually have dialogue and questions and answers. We can talk about things like police brutality. We can set up protests. We can do so much. So really trying to do good with this platform. And man, if you support it, make sure you and your friends and your baby mama and your mom, make sure everybody likes and subscribes. Now I'll see you on the next video. Peace.